All right, welcome back to episode 11 of the Confluence podcast. That's right, we broke 10 and now we're moving on. Road to 100 now. Sivith, how's it going? You're outside?
Good.
Beautiful
It's
out
so
there.
nice out here. It's 30 degrees outside.
As you can tell, Sivith is not in Prince George because we never get 30. Sivith, tell them where you are.
I'm in Chilliwack right now. I'm visiting my
Nice.
parents for a bit. I just drove up today. I've been up since 4:30 this morning.
Sivith is out here grinding,
Oh yeah.
because I
Yep.
believe you worked this morning and then drove and then podcast, and you still have an evening ahead of you. So the grind never stops, ladies and gentlemen. The grind never stops.
Exactly. What about you? What are your summer plans? It's so nice out. What are you
I
gonna
mean,
do?
now that I got my motorcycle, now every day it's nice out. I'm just ripping around doing errands and having an
I can't
excuse to go outside.
I can't believe your wife let you get a motorcycle.
Yeah, it was a little touch and go, to be honest. It was a bit of a back and forth. Let's just say if she wants something in the future, I pretty much have to say yes, because she said yes this time,
Fair.
reluctantly. But yeah, no, it's good. It gives a whole new purpose to going out in the summertime and just riding, just enjoying the weather. It's like, oh, it's just nice out. There's no reason. I'm just like, hey, I'm just gonna go out and cruise around, and yeah, no, it's a good time. So
That sounds like so much fun. I'm so happy that the COVID restrictions have been lifted, or like they've gotten more lenient, is what I should say.
yeah, I'm happy we're in like that staged process now, where it's like,
Hmm.
okay, there's like what was it, the 4 stages, I think,
Yeah.
the kind of the reopening, I guess, or whatever they
Hmm.
want to
I
call it. I'm happy that at least got put into place.
hmm
That gave me, I think that gave a lot of people like a sense of like, okay,
hope.
we're coming like over the crest now. Now
Hmm.
it's like, hey, and I mean, I think last time I heard on the news, like 60 or 70% of all Canadians have at least their first
Oh
shot.
wow.
So I was like, that is a huge number. I was like, whoa, that's not an insignificant number. That is a lot of
Hmm.
Canadians are vaccinated, or at least have the first one, which I mean is awesome. So I know my Instagram's just been flooded. People are like posting like their card, and they're like, I got the chip, and it's just like, and they
I've
got
seen
the
it too.
shots.
The
And
sticker.
yeah, the sticker. I never got a sticker. I'm so jealous. I never got anything. I didn't get a
I didn't
card,
get
didn't get
sticker
a sticker. I
either.
just got a piece of paper, and they were like, well, here you go, kid. We put something in your arm.
My piece of
It's
paper had
this.
instructions on it.
Yours had instructions on it?
Yeah.
Oh,
What to do
God.
after you get the vaccine with all the rules on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably what mine had too. Didn't even read it.
That's all I got. But yeah. So what are your summer plans? Where are you guys gonna go? Are you gonna stay in PG?
Probably. Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to stick around because Sam does summer camp work. So this is her busy season.
Oh,
So she doesn't get a lot of time off. So we usually take our vacations in the winter, our winter vacations. But we're probably gonna at least try to maybe go camping once or twice. And I have some coworkers at work that want to do Mount Robson, so
hmm
we'll probably
that'll be fun. Are you
go
guys
hit.
hiking it?
I think so. Yeah, I think we're gonna. My coworkers booked the base camp for 2 nights, I think. So I think we're gonna try to do Kinney Lake on a day hike. Maybe get up to Berg. Depends if how out of shape we are. It really depends. You hit
That's gonna
Kinney and
be
you're like,
so
oh
fun
God.
though.
Then it's like, oh, Berg is like a real grinder. But and none of us
Be
have
so
exercised
fun.
because it's COVID. So it's like, oh God,
Hmm.
all our cardios are shit. So
You're telling me. I know. I want to retake up running again.
yeah, actually, that is one of my summer plans. I went and bought shoes yesterday, and me and my
Yeah.
old man are gonna start running again. It's gonna be a
Oh,
lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of sweaty boy running around.
I agree.
Got a lot.
It
Got
is.
about the COVID 20 to trim off my body here. It's like it's like going to college, right? It's like you gain some weight, and then COVID, you gain some more weight. I mean, there wasn't much to do. Didn't realize it until like the other day. I was like, fuck, like
Exactly.
I've been chunking up a little bit, it's okay,
Well,
feels
now we
good.
get to burn it off this summer. That's what the
Yeah,
summer's all about,
yeah, and especially if
right?
it stays nice, it'll be like swimming in the
Yeah.
lakes, that's a good way to burn it off.
Hmm.
I'd much rather do that than run on a treadmill with a mask on. Like,
100%. I find it hard to run with a mask on. I've done it.
oh,
I don't
I
know how
can't.
people breathe.
I
I
can't. I go
can't
to the
breathe.
gym and I like try to do cardio with a mask on, and it feels like I'm suffocating. I'm like breathing my mask in, and I'm like,
Me
I
too, because
can't
it
do
goes
this.
in, like it
Yeah,
suctions
like
in.
it's yeah, and then I'm like, you like can't, and you're like, oh god, can't breathe, but then you don't want to take it off because then you'll be that guy that you'll get like all the
Or the guy
dirty
that
looks.
gets kicked out of the gym.
Yeah, or you'll get that's even I think getting kicked out of the gym would be not as bad as the menacing glares you get from people that just like are walking around you and they're just like, hey, you're not wearing a mask. You, hate that look.
Yeah,
It's just like, oh.
it's true.
And I think like
Hey,
that's honestly like I think it was like the peer pressure that made people wear masks in the gym because like by policy, like you didn't have to wear it everywhere. Like if
mm-mm.
you like
Now
read the
you do. I
the
don't
the
know if it's
health order.
changed now, but I remember like when they got strict again, you had to wear it at every station.
Yeah, when it got strict, it was but at the beginning, it was just like when you were at your like say you were working out on a bench, like it was just at your bench. Once you were there, you could take your mask off because everything was supposed to be like spaced out, but like no one did that because everybody was just like, okay, we're all gonna keep our masks on. It's like
Hmm.
this herd mentality. It was like, well, might as well not take it off. Everybody just keeps it on.
It's
So
true. I feel like
yeah,
everyone just follows each other.
yeah, it's just like, oh, I'll do what they're doing, and then I'll look like them, and we're good. You know? Yeah, COVID has been a herd mentality kind of
Uh-huh.
pandemic. You've definitely seen that where people like do things and you're like, you didn't think of that. You
No.
saw someone else do that, and then you're like, cool, I'll just do that. Like it's just like, well, he or she's got it going here, and it's like, okay, cool.
100%. I agree with that. I feel like a lot of people just follow people because they're not always sure if like what's happening or what like the right thing to do is. And they also don't want to stand out. Like you don't want to stand out in a group of people when you do something different from them,
Yeah,
you know? But
yeah,
yeah.
like I noticed like at the grocery stores when they started to put like those circles like down to like spread people out, like when they were waiting in line, like people would like find those circles and then stand directly on them. And it was like you'd see people like there'd be like no more like for those like long lines at Save On or whatever, like it'd be backed up all the way to the bakery, and there wouldn't be any more circles, and you could just tell people were like they were just like looking. They're like, okay, where the hell is the circle? I need to stand on the. It was like playing Twister. These people were just like, okay, I need to find this red circle and stand on it, and then that means I'm good.
You know who never had the circles? Superstore.
What? Superstore never
I
had the.
remember them
That's
having
it. We're
circles.
shutting down Superstore. Final straw. That's it. That's it.
Go tell them what's up, Zach.
Yeah, I'll bring it to their attention. Superstore, if you're watching, you're in trouble.
I wish they were watching. I hope they're watching. Please
Yeah.
watch us.
Yes. Superstore, please sponsor this show.
Yeah,
Sponsor the groceries for this show. That'd be great.
we'd love that.
Yeah, that'd be excellent.
Disclaimer, we were not paid for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you think dating life's gonna go now that like the COVID restrictions have opened up?
Oh, I think it's gonna it's gonna be a crazy little bit here because I think like now
Yeah.
everybody's like starting to get vaccinated and people are starting to get for lack of a better word, they're starting to get horny. They're trying to get after it. Like we've been in such a dark like kind of like
Fair.
this rut that I think people are like, okay, cool. Like I got the first shot, they got the first shot, and then some people were on to their second. Some people are fully vaccinated. Like we're already like, it's snowballed quite a bit in the last like even just last month. Like it's been like, wow, like everybody like I know is now vaccinated. It's like, oh, you're vaccinated? Yeah, of course. And it's like, whoa, like what the heck? Like it was like a month ago, like it wasn't like that. It was like still people were like, what? You got a vaccine? I didn't get a vaccine, but now everybody just it's like common. Everybody's or for the most part
Is
has the first.
vaccinated.
So and
I
now
think
I
it's
think
rude to ask someone if they're vaccinated. I saw a debate about that on Instagram a couple days
yeah,
ago.
I don't know. I saw that too, and I was kind of like, like at like I don't know, because at that point, like what like does it really is it gonna make a difference? Like is it truly
Mm.
gonna make a difference if like is it because I would imagine you're asking this probably on like the first couple of interactions, I would imagine, because
Yeah.
that's when it's the most important.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, you know, if you're gonna ask that, what other things are you gonna ask, right? Like it's like, well, well, hey, if I ask one thing, like how, like what is it gonna be, like a questionnaire? You have to fill it out. Like what is, that's gonna be awkward. Like
That's true.
you
Well, I
know,
don't know. See,
I feel like it's gonna be the same awkwardness as like kind of like when people have like the STD STI talk.
you think so? See, I
I
think
think
it's
so. I
gonna be
think people
more
are
like
gonna be
on
like,
the
well, that's none
outside.
of your business, but it's gonna like,
I think it's gonna cause problems when people disagree on it. Like, for example, like if I had it and like I was with someone and we're on a date and they're like, I don't actually agree with the vaccine. I don't think COVID's real. Where I stand as if like it's real and I believe in it. I think that's what'll
yeah,
cause.
okay, I agree on that. Like, I think if you had someone who had like a different outlook on kind of what the pandemic and the vaccine and kind of what you need, that'd be kind of, yeah, that'd be kind of an awkward
Sorry, there
conversation.
was a bee.
Sivith has now been attacked by a bee. Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, Sivith, are you getting like attacked by a cat? What was that?
It's a bee.
So, but yeah, no, I think it's gonna be one of those things where it's, yeah, like you're gonna at some
Would
point,
you?
because at some point, like we're all, because that's where I have the issue with, is that
Yeah.
at some point, like it's not gonna matter really anymore. It's like people don't ask if you've had chicken pox. Like who the hell asked that?
That's true. That's
And
years from now. I feel like
yeah,
we're gonna go through a phase of asking people, and the second vaccine's gonna come out because then you're fully vaccinated. So it's like that's gonna be another thing people are gonna ask. Have you received your second vaccine yet?
yeah, yeah. I think it's gonna be awkward, and I honestly think young people are not gonna do it. Like I think like the young teenagers, like I don't think they're gonna do it. I think it'll be like more like the young adults, like early adulthood type thing, because that's like I find honestly those are the people that are asking like a lot of the questions that I find, like when you're like hearing discussions and stuff that's happening kind of like around that age range, and then obviously like into like adult.
Yeah.
But it's like I've kind of seen it being quiet between like the ages of like 20, 28 and like under 40, right? It's kind of like this like gray area where it's like like whatever, because they're not at risk on either side of the spectrum, but they're kind of just like right in the middle. Like statistically, you're going to be probably way safer between 20 and 40 years of age,
You don't
right?
think they'll ask then?
I don't. Yeah, I don't think like someone over 30. I don't think would ask. Like, I don't think you would.
See, I disagree. I think people that are over that would ask because they're the ones that are more at risk than the younger people.
Yeah,
Like
but
if you're more at risk, wouldn't you want to know?
that's a different generation. That's a
I just don't
generation
believe
that's
in
lived.
it.
No, I'm not saying they don't believe in it, but that's a generation that lived through like some different types of hells and diseases, and and they've gone through, so maybe they're like, I'm saying they might be a little jaded to it. They might just be like, well, we've done this before, like, whatever, like it's like we're moving on, like not like whatever, like it's like not a big deal, but it might not be like the biggest, like maybe not the first ask, like maybe it'll be like where I think like the just because it's like a hot button right now. I think that's kind of why like young people like to ask,
Yeah.
and will ask, because it's like just it's the thing, it's the vibe right now. You got everybody wants to know, and everybody wants to be vaccinated, and it's a huge deal, and it's hip and it's cool, and everybody, honestly though, it's like, why do people post it on Instagram? Like, who cares? Like, I know you got Pfizer, everybody got Pfizer for the most part. Like, fuck, like, what do I like? Why do I care? Like, it's like,
Not unless you're standing in front of what, the CN Center? No, is it?
I
Where
don't know.
everyone's disagreeing with it and protesting.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, like those people, fine. You protest away. You know what? It's a beautiful day outside. Get your signs. Go stand on the corner and put those signs right up high. Loud and proud. So, and I'm just like, okay, well, whatever makes you feel good. And if that's putting up a sign and walking around CN Center parking lot, like, fuck, go for it. Life's short. Enjoy it.
It was short.
So, but yeah,
I
no,
agree.
I think like, yeah, the asking is gonna be, it's definitely gonna be like a thing. I don't think it's gonna be like a necessarily an icebreaker. Like I don't think it's gonna be like, you're not gonna like start off conversations with like, oh hi, I'm Zach and I have Pfizer. Like it's not gonna be like this weird like like it's not gonna be like a jumping off point, because it's gonna be like, okay, cool, like that's coming on a little strong with the Pfizer. Like it's
Mhm.
it's not gonna, and like what are people gonna like carry the cards in their wallet and be like, be
Well, they're
like,
putting
oh
it on
look,
our passports. Didn't you hear about that?
well, is
They're
that
gonna
for?
stamp our passports.
See, but that makes sense. That make like,
Oh.
because like we need to be able to get out of our countries. Damn it! Like we can't. That makes sense. But like what? Like if you're at the liquor store and they pull out your ID, what are you gonna pull out your vaccination card too? Because you're gonna have that in your wallet. Like what's?
Oh, I wonder if the people that have been vaccinated will be allowed to not wear masks, and people that haven't been vaccinated will have to wear masks.
Yeah,
That'd be
I
interesting.
don't know how that whole mask thing's gonna go. I was looking into that today, and I was like, I don't know how that's gonna work. Because
You know
like
what
we
my
talked,
personal opinion is? I think they're just gonna say it's encouraged, but won't be able to mandate it.
but like we said on the last episode, like, are we gonna have like, what are we gonna have, like privately owned stores? Like there, if it's only like recommended, like are we gonna all of a sudden have stores that are like, no, you don't have to wear them. Yeah, you do. No, you don't. Yeah, you do. Like, is it gonna be like this weird, like, is it gonna be like a per store basis because they're gonna have like no grounds to stand on? Because then the public health thing will just be like, well, it's just recommended, and they're gonna be like, well, we're making it mandatory in our.
Store. That's
Yeah.
true.
I
I
think I
wonder
think we're all
if
gonna have
the
to have
province
like a
recommended it, how
we're all
that
gonna
would
have,
go.
a backup mask, like in our back pockets, because like we won't really know. You always have to have like a
In your
safety
glove
mask.
box.
Yeah, just in case when you like show up, you're like, oh damn it, this is one of those mask places. You know,
Mm-hmm.
now it's like you don't even leave the house without one. You're like, okay, keys, wallet, phone, watch, mask. Like it's just like part of the daily carry things now, because you can't go anywhere. I know, like
Mm-mm.
the other day, like I went to the gas station and I had my motorcycle helmet on, and it's a full face, and the lady
Oh,
was like kind of giving me a hard time about it.
really?
She's like, you don't have a mask under there, and I'm like, well, yeah,
Well, the
obvious.
helmet's covering it.
Yeah, I was like, obviously I don't have a mask under. Like, why would I? What? It's
People
just
are
like,
interesting.
yeah, and I was like kind of like awkward, because I was like, am I not gonna be able to get gas? Like, what's? I'm like, I just want to get gas. Like, I don't like just, I'm leaving the helmet on because it's like I don't want to take it off. And
Mm-hmm.
I like just like flipped up like the visor part so that she could see me. And it was just like, but it was just like she was just like, you don't have a mask, and then we just stood there awkwardly, and like
I
there was like
stared at
this
each
little
other.
silence, and I'm like, okay, can I buy gas now? Like, is it like? I was like,
It's hard. Well, my friend, like, we were out at a restaurant. Okay, me and my friend's girlfriend. Ow, we're gonna go to a restaurant, and then her boyfriend decided to join us, my best friend, and he forgot his mask, and we didn't have an extra mask, but we wanted to go. Like, once you get to the table, you can take it off, so it's not a
yeah,
big deal. It's just getting to the table. We're at, I guess I won't drop the name of the restaurant, a restaurant in PG, and like, honestly, they just said as long as he covers his mouth like this or goes like this, he can walk to his table. And they were okay with it.
did this restaurant not have like an extra box of
They had
masks?
none, they were out.
What?
And it's a really popular restaurant too.
Oh,
Everyone goes there for burgers.
hmm. That's odd. Because
Yeah,
yeah, like I know, like most businesses, I must say, in town have been really good if you show up and you don't have one.
keeping extra boxes.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, like here, we have disposable ones like right at the front door, like help yourself. Like they're not like, oh God, no, you forgot your
Mm-hmm.
mask, like go home, go get it. Like they're like, no, here, like, and I mean it makes sense. Like you're a business, you want people to come in and spend money. The
Yeah.
quickest way to do that is to give them like a 2-cent mask, scrap it to their face, and then let them buy a bunch of stuff from your store, right? Like I was like, it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. It's kind of like a good business model. You don't want to turn your customers away,
Well, also,
you know?
but I guess restaurants are going to take off your mask anyways once you get to the table.
Yeah.
But I think those, those dividers between the tables, I think those will stay for years. I don't think they're going to come off
Yeah.
any.
I think dividers are gonna be like, and I think like honestly, like at like tills and like
Yeah,
counters and stuff, like I don't think that's going anywhere. As
no,
much
me
as I
neither.
don't like them, like I kind of get it, because like, have you ever had like someone when they're like talking to you and they're just talking like way too close to you, and you can like just like feel them spitting at you, and you're like, my God, I wish I had like a shield or something. it's like now that is the shield, like I was at a store the other day
Times in
and
the
it was,
hospital where I wouldn't have been wearing a mask, or like you don't wear a mask in the hospital unless you have to for their PPE. And there's times where I'm like, thank God I'm wearing a mask.
yeah, no, there's definitely some times where it's like, you know what, maybe this thing, maybe this thing isn't a
Appreciate
bad
it.
idea, and I think it'll be better because I think right now, like a lot of the issue is that like some people have, and I'm guilty of that, like, someone says something like, right, like it's like a cashier, like a service person says something and they have a mask and then they have the plexiglass and then there's me with my mask.
Yeah.
So there's like all of a sudden like two barriers that you can't hear very well because like the mask distorts the voice, and then you got this plexiglass that distorts it, and there's no holes cut in the plexiglass, like it's just a sheet of plexiglass, like it's like, well, I run into the problem where like someone's like, they're like, and I'm like, what? And then they're like, what? Because they like can't understand. And I'm like, fuck. And it's just because like we're both wearing, we're both
Mm-hmm.
covering our face with cloths and then screaming at
Yeah.
each other through plexiglass. It's like, fuck, like, it gets, but luckily
Complicated.
everybody's kind of like dealing with it. Like it's not like anybody had special treatment. There wasn't like people that were like, oh, like I don't have to. Like everybody had to. Everybody's had to grind through this, which is something I'm
100%.
something I'm kind of glad. I'm glad no one got like, everybody had to deal with it. Everybody had to wear the mask. Everybody had to, it wasn't like, oh, like this demographic or this population or this age range doesn't have to. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody had to
I
deal.
think that's why people were more likely to wear them anyways and did wear them and didn't make as much of a fuss. Like
Yeah.
obviously the kids didn't have to wear them like 3 and under or whatever, but you can't make them do anything. But besides that, I feel like they made it really realistic.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, like COVID is definitely real and scary, and it's like traumatizing. PTSD is what I'm gonna have from this. But it's kind of nice that like the parks were still open as an option for parents. Like one of my best friends has children, so whenever I come into town, like to visit, like it was nice to be able to see like she could still take her kids there, because
Mm-hmm.
like as a parent keeping your kid in the house all day, it's hard. And I can't imagine when the parks were closed for a bit, like how those parents were doing.
Well, yeah. I
You know?
mean, like, and the, kids
And kids
are,
can wear masks at the park. Like I saw some kids wearing masks, some weren't,
yeah,
but I like that outlet for them. And I feel like even with having masks mandated for everyone, also made it so that it was consistent across the board and everyone was wearing them.
yeah,
And now when they're like going to be highly encouraged, if that happens down the line, it's like it's still up to you again. It's like where if you really truly believe you need to be wearing one, wear one and no one will judge you for it. And if you feel like you're safe without one, don't wear one.
yeah. It's definitely gonna be like I know, like for me at work, like they probably won't, unroll the mask protocol for probably a while. I wouldn't be surprised if it sticks for another 6 months to a year, probably. Um, just because like it's kind of hard to like, once you have like a policy set in place, and especially like in places where it's like there's like a bigger
Board,
entity,
yeah.
it's like, there's always like a higher up like that that they just want to
Yeah.
ensure that no one, because like, right, if it's just highly recommended and then there's half, a couple of people that are and then some people that aren't, and then sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, like it's hard to like kind of balance that. Like, so I think it's easier for them to just like, for certain businesses and for certain people, to just keep the masks going and just keep it as
I
if
think
as
so.
if it didn't get, opted to be highly recommended. Like it's
Yeah.
better to just like continue on with the mindset that is mandatory for this certain setting, and then,
I think even in the hospital, it'll be like that for a while.
yeah, like in a hospital, like they're not gonna, like the masks are, it's gonna be like highly recommended. Highly recommended people wear them on the like, and but they can take them off on the outside. But it's not gonna happen in the hospital. It's not gonna be like, oh, cool, now we don't have to wear PPE because it's over. Like you still have to,
Yeah.
like, right, like it's still like life
Yeah.
continues on at
Totally.
the normal processes. But like I think like, and I'll be curious to see like as we, let the masks, come off, like we'll then like this, because we kind of went through this like kind of through the winter where there wasn't that many, or the early spring where there wasn't that many like flus. I
Yeah.
found people weren't really getting that normal, like kind of like that awful weather, like flu. Like I know I always say, like if I'm gonna get sick, it'll be in the winter. Like
Oh,
it'll
100%.
be
Mine's always
sometime
after
in the winter.
10.
That's what I'm getting. It's not in the summertime. I've
Yeah.
rarely been sick in the summertime. It's always been in the winter. It's always been when the
Yeah.
weather just kind of really fluctuates hard. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think my body can keep up with it, and then that's when I get sick. So, but we kind of like, you didn't really hear many people that were actually sick, or maybe they didn't talk. Maybe they didn't talk about it because it was like so taboo to be sick. You know,
Yeah.
you have like one
Oh, it
symptom.
was.
They're like
Yeah.
COVID, and you're like, no. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like right now, my buddy has like really bad allergies, and he's like, I'm like, if I don't take like a reactant before I go like out, like people think I'm sick. You know, because I'm sneezing and I'm coughing and I'm all congested, and I'm like, yeah, like that is like a, you know, like that
Yeah.
is some of the symptoms, you know.
I feel like that's a reality for now.
Yeah, and it's like, well, like you, and that's like another thing that like I've talked to like a few coworkers. I'm like, well, you know, I've had a symptom of COVID for like the last like my entire life. You know, like when they read off the symptoms list, I'm like, I've had sore muscles and aches and pains like since the age of like 12. Okay, so if
Mm-hmm.
we're really gonna, so it's like kind of hard to be like, okay, like what is really new, and then what is, you know, something that you've, you know, either it's
Always had.
seasonal, or you know, like people when it gets really dry outside and they cough, like right when it's dry in the wintertime and you get like that dry cough in the winter. You know, it's like, oh, do you have any coughing symptoms? It's like, well, yeah, but like it's not it's not from that, it's just because of, you know, but then it's like, well, you got a symptom, right? Go get tested. And you're like it's just seasonal dryness. That's all it is. Like it's hard to
Mm-hmm.
like kind of, so I think a lot of people have been like pretty quiet with things.
I
And then
think
like, oh,
so.
I have a little cough, and I'm just like not gonna tell anybody, or you know, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna tell anybody it's allergies. I'm just gonna like pretend it doesn't exist. So I think with the masks come off, it's gonna be an interesting. There might be some, all of a sudden people are, and I think people are gonna finally see faces again. That's gonna be freaking
It's gonna
weird.
be so nice when you can
It's
actually
gonna
look
be
at someone's
so
face and see if they're
weird.
smiling at you or not.
No, people are just gonna be frowning a lot because they're like so used to it now. They're just like,
Just
yeah,
glaring.
just glaring, or
Glaring.
like grinding their teeth, you know, and doing silly things. Like,
I miss people seeing my smile. I'm excited for people to see my smile. I feel like it's an asset.
yeah, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of staring in the beginning. Like, I feel like you're gonna be like in the grocery store and people are just gonna be like staring, but like not to be rude. They're just gonna be like, oh my god, a human face, you know? Like it'll just be like,
Totally.
wow,
Yeah.
that, you know, like just people are just gonna want to visually take in people's faces. Like even if they already
Mhm.
know what their face looks like, it'll be like, oh, like
Oh,
that.
so many
I
people
think it's gonna be awkward for the first bit. People are gonna be like,
without their masks on.
are they looking
I
at me? Like, why is they
agree.
looking at me? Like, do I have something on my face? Like, what is?
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be like the awkward. Like, do I have something in my teeth? Like, what's going on here? Why am I getting this stare
Mm-hmm.
down? So, and see,
No.
I'll finally be able to pull out the old Farva mustache. It's gonna come out. People are gonna, you know, be able to take a sweet look at that thing once the mask comes off.
Ah,
So, are you sitting on a beehive right now?
no. I'm okay. There's just lots of plants around me.
Yeah, you're sitting in a bush of
Sorry.
flowers. He's
Well,
like, hey, what
actually,
are you
my
doing?
dad's gardening, so we have like gardens going all around the house. And then, like, I don't know if you guys kind of want to look at it, but he also has these
Oh
planters.
yeah.
So there's bees
Oh yeah,
everywhere.
there's bees putting in work over there.
Exactly. So like you can't escape them at my house.
Yeah, I've noticed the bees this year have been like really like, as soon as it got warm, they were just like, okay, let's go. Like it's just
They
crazy.
know
Like,
that they don't have to wear masks, so they're
yeah,
excited.
I guess so. They're like, whoa, let's get out. But like, yeah, this year, like as soon as it got warm, it was crazy. It was like April and there was bees. I was like, what? I was like, what is
Mm-hmm.
this? April and there's bees? I was like, what the heck? And they were like already trying to pollinate like the most like the brand new plants. They're already trying to pollinate them. I was like, oh, they're making up for lost time or something. I don't know. So
Oh, they are making up for lost times. No, honestly, when it comes to like COVID, the biggest thing I'm excited about, especially now that I'm here in the city for the summer, is to date. It's gonna be
oh
fun. I feel
yeah.
like the dating life is gonna be
Sivith is going out.
like, you know how like, okay, no, I got this. I just thought of this. You know when COVID happened, everyone was having babies. Everyone was like knocked up, pregnant, having
Yep.
kids. Everyone.
I
Okay.
I had a conversation with a certain someone about that too. I was
And
like, it was like, well, everybody else is doing it, so
maybe it's a time for a baby. No.
oh,
See? So that's one thing. And renovations. Everyone was renovating their houses. because everyone was stuck at home.
Yep.
They're working on projects, everyone was painting their houses, building decks, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happened when COVID happened. Now that the COVID restrictions have been lifted more and like they're much more lenient, you can see people, you can go to bars, you can go inside places, you can be with people up to 5 people in your house. Everyone's gonna be dating, and you're gonna be hearing about a bunch of people breaking up and a bunch of people getting into relationships.
Yeah, it's gonna be an emotional roller coaster, I think, for a lot of.
Totally.
It's gonna be like
100%.
now, like for a short period here, or like maybe even a long period,
The
depends
rest
kind
of
of
the
how
year,
long it goes.
hopefully.
It's gonna be like every time you like see someone, you're gonna be like, oh hey, what's new? And you're gonna be like, oh, I hooked up with this person, but I also broke up with this person and this person. And you're like, well, okay, hold on. Back up a second here. You know, like
I
fill
would.
me in, back up. I'm not caught up to where we are now. Like the
It's only been 2
timelines.
weeks and you've already slept with 2 people. Good for you.
Yeah, like you fucking go for it, you know? Like you just send it. You know, I know me and Sam were talking about it and we're like, oh God, like we already talked about it, like if like kind of like after we got married, and we are like, oh God, like how do people date now? Like dating now is like it's so weird. Like from when we did it, it was like you'd still like, you know, we'd still like go out to a restaurant and maybe a movie, and now it's just like, you know, it's kind of not like that anymore. It's like super digital.
It's not,
and
no.
you know, and if you have the luxury of being in a town that kind of has like a nightlife, you know,
You
like
can't
where
even
you
enjoy
are,
it.
that's freaking awesome. But Prince George kind of has like a meh nightlife. I mean, it's okay, I guess. For the few
Mhm.
times I've been out, it's all right. It's nothing to write home
Oh,
about.
back to
But
school nightlife's gonna be crazy. I'm so stoked for September.
yeah,
Holy, the
actually, that's
vibes
a
are
good
gonna be
point. Actually,
pumping.
September is going to be, yeah, because then people are going to be in school, and then
Yeah. And
no
everyone's gonna be
COVID, and
back to
everything's,
PG because everything's in person.
yeah,
I bet finding a place to rent is gonna be so hard.
yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I was like, oh yeah, because I had a buddy. He was like, oh yeah, like my landlord like sold our place, and I have to find like a new one at like the middle of July. And he was like, it's so hard now. He's like, everything is like just marked up like through the roof. You know, for something you
Mhm.
would have paid 900, it's like 1600 now. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, and he's like, it's not even nice. You just get like this like little like basement thing or anymore because like everything's just gone now.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, even when like back to school hits, like September is going to be crazy too, because like all of a
Well,
sudden students are going to have
July
to
and
come
August.
back, right? Like they're going to
Mhm.
have to come back. I feel like that
Yeah.
was kind of the move this year. People, like students were like, oh, okay, cool, so I can do all my courses and I don't have to be here. I'm out.
Mhm.
And then they were like, I'm going home. Fuck it, you know. Like, and it was just like, oh, okay. Like I don't blame them. Like, you know, like I had a class with like it was like I can't remember, I think it was like 2 guys that were from India, and they were in India. I was like, well, that's kind of the move. Like, obviously we're dealing with a different time zone, but that's kind of the play. You know, like you still get to go to school, you still get to like get your grades and work on your degree or whatever, but you get to stay at home. You get to stay like
Yeah.
back home or wherever you want to stay. Really, it doesn't
I
really
bet so
matter.
many people saved money that
Oh
way.
yeah, and you like got to see family and stuff and be with them like for like
Longer.
longer, and especially during like kind of this tough time, right? Like I was like, oh, that's kind of the move actually. I was like, fuck.
Definitely
I was
is.
like, that's like people were like, okay, like I think they saw it. They were like, oh, cool. Like profs don't care if I'm not actually here. So I'm getting
I
out of
love
here.
online school. I don't know. 30 years online for us nursing school next year. I'm excited.
Yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to see how people like go back to like being in
I think a
person.
lot of people will like it because a lot of people were complaining about how they didn't like online school.
Yeah, I think there were definitely like some profs and some courses that excelled a little bit better through
Yeah.
like the online platform. Like,
The younger ones. Just saying.
well, you're right. I can't
Or the
argue with
ones
that.
with teenagers. I feel like if you have like teenagers, you can still figure it out because they can help you out.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because I
mostly the
ran I
younger
ran
ones.
into, and I heard from other students that they ran into like profs that like just didn't want to adapt. Like
Oh,
they were
100%.
just like, nope, you know what? This isn't
Years.
this isn't gonna last. This is just like
Yeah.
a fad, whatever. Like I'm just like not gonna put the effort in to try to like make it like easier to navigate, or
Hmm.
or like not.
Or you have to respond to emails more now because think about it. Everyone's online. So what are they doing? They're emailing you.
Yeah, and it's
Right? That's like another
not
big
to
thing.
not to say it's not difficult to embrace new practices. I get that, I understand that, but at the same time, like a couple YouTube tutorials probably wouldn't kill you on how to use this new software that everyone's using. Like
you have questions, come to Zach.
Yeah, it was just like, come on, like
We'll direct
I
you to
had
the
I
YouTube
had
videos.
multiple lectures that the prof forgot to turn on the audio. And then they turned off the chat because they didn't want to hear us. They didn't want to see our chat notifications. So somehow they figured out how to turn off the chat, but didn't figure out how to turn on the audio. I was like, oh, come on. I was like, oh, this is come on. I was like, this is come on. You know, technical difficulties, sure, but this is just ignorance. This is just, I was just like, well, that's great. Like, I can't wait to listen to a 3-hour lecture with no audio. Like, this is gonna be cool. Like, it's gonna be a lot of fun. But then at the same time, profs would be like, oh, like you didn't like sign on to the lecture today. And I'm like, well, I was gonna watch it later because like you saved them. Well, that's not the point. And I'm like, well, why? Like, honestly, what difference? You don't engage with us anyway. I'm just gonna watch it later. I don't want to get up for an 8 a.m. class. I'll watch it at noon. It's the same thing. It's the same lecture. It's not like the lecture is gonna change in 3 hours. I had very many arguments with profs on that because I was working like night shifts, so I'd like watch a lecture at 3 a.m. You know,
Oh wow.
yeah, and
Living
I'd
your
like,
best life, Zach.
yeah, and I was like, because I was like, that's my awake time. Like I'm sleeping during the day, I'm awake during the night. Like that's, that's my, 3 a.m. is my, 11 o'clock, in the afternoon, where I'm like, okay, well, I'll just do some work and watch a lecture. But then like I'd get emails from profs like, oh, you didn't attend, 2 lectures this week, and I'm like, yeah, but I handed in the assignments based on those 2 lectures, and I got a good grade on it. So like, obviously I watched them. Like I wouldn't have been able to get a good grade if I didn't watch them. Like it's like well, yeah, and it was just it felt like with COVID, like going back to normal now or normal. Like I feel like I think profs are gonna feel a lot more at home with kind of but I think this was a huge wake up call for a lot of them that like the digital world matters. It matters quite a bit, and it's a powerful tool. Like I hope like the profs that maybe didn't take away everything from this, but maybe they saw like profs, if you're listening, maybe incorporate some digital stuff. Students like that. Like maybe include more videos, maybe do like a Zoom check-in or something with your, just like a thing like that. Like I'm not saying everything has to be done that way, but just think about it. Like you've been made aware that classes can run in this type of format, and in some ways is actually like a little bit more better for either like distance education, like whatever. Like I think now like profs have seen just how powerful it can be when used in its best way and it's at its full extent. It could be like super strong. Like I mean, like look at us, like without Zoom, like how would we have done this podcast?
That's true.
Like our podcast would have been dead in the water like first episode because like we just weren't able to film close together because we had to keep like physical distancing. And it was like without this, it wouldn't have been possible. Like it would have been like we wouldn't have been able to do it like legitimately while following all the, the rules and regulations and the public health orders. Like we wouldn't have been able to do it. So
that's so true.
It's kind of like you just need to find like these tools that might be able to help you. And now it's so it's one of those things where COVID has definitely brought like a lot of advancements, and especially I love the takeout apps now. They've gotten so much better with COVID, which is not good for me, but so good for up here. It's not good for my belly.
I think
but
a lot
it's
of
good
them
for
have
my
made so
health.
much money, especially Skip the Dishes.
Oh,
Skip the Dishes has made millions and billions of dollars off of all of us.
Or like in PG, there's that like the Dine Easy app or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And that one's good. I'll post it down in the bottom or whatever. I use that one all the time, and that one like finds restaurants that like haven't been on like a delivery service. So it's like I was able to get like Nancio's the other night delivered to my house. I was like, Nancio's would like they were never on any sort of delivery app or anything because they were just like such like a small like kind of like mom and pop place, right? So it's kind of like I think a lot of businesses realized that they needed that, right? They needed a way to continue. And it was like at the local pub up here, like the servers became drivers.
Well, also like another thing is so many
keep their
people
jobs. And I was like, that's awesome. Like keep a server as a driver because then we can still tip them and they can still make a a comfortable living. And it's just we just had to think. You just had to think, right? Like I think
outside the
outdoor
box.
patios, right?
That's what I was gonna say. Did you see the outdoor patios that are built in downtown?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, and like when I saw those, I was like, Kate, that's an owner and like kind of like a neighborhood of restaurants, and kind of like, you know, and you can tell
Yeah.
like kind of like certain areas of restaurants, they work together, right? They work together to make
Oh,
sure that their streets can
100%.
have patios
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I thought that was brilliant. I was like, listen, like you are, you know, these owners and these, you know, these workers, and they're striking when the iron's hot here. You know, the people are
Mhm.
asking, hey, I want to come, spend money at your establishment and eat and be social and have my friends together, and we can still share a meal, and that's
Mhm.
important to me. But we need to make it work. And it was,
Yeah,
it was like those pop-up patios. They popped up in like 2 days. It was incredible. I was like
they
driving downtown.
did.
I was like, holy, like where did all these patios come from? I was like, what the heck?
Mhm.
And you could just tell like people had probably like, these owners had probably madly ordered things and gone to local stores and bought pop-up tents, and it was probably just a quick spur of the moment, okay, let's do it, let's go for it. But like it probably ended up keeping like some of these businesses alive, right? Like,
That's true.
so
Honestly, I think like everything's just taught us like change is gonna happen. Don't plan for the future. Live in the moment. And technology is important. And appreciate your social time with people.
yeah.
But I have a question for you. I was thinking about this while you were talking.
All right, hit me with it.
Okay. And I think this is a good question because we're gonna look back and watch
Oh no.
this, okay?
Oh no.
At the end of the summer.
Okay.
So, what is a piece of advice you want to give to your future self for this summer, taking into account that taking the restrictions into account right now
Yeah.
and thinking about the fact of how last summer was?
So telling my future self.
Yeah, what's one thing you tell your future self for this summer?
Hmm, I don't know. What would you tell yourself?
I was thinking about it as like because I was thinking about this on the drive today. I was like I gotta live it up, you know? And one thing I want to tell my future self for this summer is just live. If you have the opportunity to go and have a drink with a friend on a patio, do it. If you plan to like Netflix inside of someone's like, hey, let's go for a walk, go do it. If there is something that you just want to do, go do it. If you have like a couple of days off work, don't stay at home, don't stay in town, go do stuff. Get out and do things. Live as if you wouldn't have had a summer. Live
Hmm,
as if this summer, because like if you think about it, this summer is like our lucky summer. It's like our grand summer.
that's true.
Everyone said 2020 was going to be that year. I think this summer going forward is going to be that big year.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
What do you think?
I think I'd tell my future self to just, enjoy the little things that make you
Yeah.
happy,
Oh,
and
I like
don't make reasons to have to do it, and like, I mean, like I learned that with getting my motorcycle. It was like there was absolutely no reason for it. Like there was absolutely zero reason for me to get a motorcycle. There was no, but I told Sam, I was like, this year was really hard and I just want something fun, even if it's only 12 minutes from when I leave home and I go to work with it.
Yeah.
Like I just want fun. Like I just, and like that's okay, that's what I'm going to tell myself. I just want fun, damn it. You
Just have
know,
fun.
like just have fun. Like either whether it's, like me and my buddies, we bought a slip and slide and we went drinking and then
Oh, I love
fired it
that.
up in his backyard, and like grown men sliding. We just destroyed that thing. We like
That
absolutely
is
wrecked
awesome.
that slip and slide, but it was like the most fun like three grown ass adults have ever had in their lives. Like it was just like, but I was like, once again, we were just kind of like, wow, well, we don't really need a slip and slide, but we're like, nah, let's get one. It'll be fun.
Need
Like it
it.
was just like, let's just do fun stuff. Even
Mm-hmm.
let's do like, I know like me and my buddy after this, we're gonna go play baseball in the park.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's just like whatever. Like I called him. I'm like, hey, you want to play baseball? He's like, yeah. So we're, go crank off a couple beers and go throw some baseball. And
I
it's just
like
like
that.
that's, and it's easy, right? Like I think people like need to just accept that this summer doesn't have to be like complicated trips and a lot of planning, and it has to
Mm-hmm.
be like, oh, my god, we're gonna go to Spain for 2 weeks and we have to like have an whole itinerary or some crap. Like it's just gonna be like, hey, after work, do you just want to go do something? Yeah, sure. Like it's done like that.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be, I think a lot of the events that are gonna happen this summer, both big and small, are gonna be very spontaneous. It'll just be like, once you make a decision to do something, I think people are just, and I know for myself, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. because it's like, well, we've been locked up long enough that now it's like whenever there's like just a little spark of something, it's like, okay, cool, let's do it. Like, and there's no like questions asked. It's just like I think we're gonna, like, a lot of people are gonna feel very freed. Like it'll be like a freeing type feeling, and I mean that's come on, it's good. That's good. Like if you want to go to the lake, go to the lake. Like don't be like, oh well, I don't know if I can. Like just go. Like what?
Yeah.
Like what's holding you back? Like nothing.
Nothing. What do you have to lose?
Yeah, honestly, like what do you like? And I think like a lot of people are gonna like reward themselves with being, and reward kind of like how we made it through this. Like it'll be like a very much like an uplifting, like, as much as there were some losses, and unfortunately we did lose people to this, like I think really the world kind of joined together here in some way, shape, or form, and was like, okay, we need to figure this out. Like everybody needs to chip in a piece, and we're gonna be okay. We're gonna make it through. And now I think the world's starting to see like, cool, like vaccines are getting rolled out across the world. And we're still having our bumps in the roads, but I mean, like it's definitely like if we were to look at it now where it was 8 months ago, like we're at a completely different stage now. So it's like, hey, like I think we just need to look at that, and I think like that's where like people can't, or I don't think they necessarily should plan everything, because it's like we've learned that in a blink of an eye, all of a sudden everything we knew as normal can just disappear, and then we have to relearn how to do something. So if going to the lake, you might as well just go, because like what if you don't have the opportunity to do that again because of the world going to in some sort of direction or not? Like it's just do it. Like, like I think this is the Nike just do it summer, like it's just, that's it. That's what it is. Like, I mean, it's just, you don't really have to justify anything to anyone at this point.
No.
It's like, as long as you're safe and you're keeping other people safe, like go for it.
I agree. Okay, before we end this video, I have to show everyone this. Y'all, look at my foot tan. Can you see it?
Oh my God. So it looks like you cut off someone else's foot and put it on your body.
And I'm a colored person, so to have that tan already is crazy. What is happening? I just noticed it.
Must be nice. I'm still very white.
I'm so dark. Like I'm tanning like crazy. I'm wearing the waterfalls today, and you guys, I'm wearing sunscreen because I know I'm gonna burn.
Yes. Yeah, it's a good call. Wear the sunscreen. Everybody, this summer, don't, we just made it through COVID. Don't get skin cancer. Fucking wear sunscreen. Okay.
Yes, please don't get skin cancer.
Don't get, you made it this far. Don't get skin cancer. Okay.
Exactly.
Come on. We don't need more barricades here.
Yeah.
It's no joke. So, all right. Well, thanks to everybody for joining in. This was our summer COVID episode again. As well, we like to talk about COVID. But we're getting there. We're almost over. But enjoy the summer. Don't stew on it. Enjoy the summer. Go out.
Have fun.
Just have fun.
Just go do it.
Just do it. All right. And as always, if you guys want to send in your submissions to be shown off on the show, send it to editor@cncsu.ca. And if you see it on the show, a $20 check is coming your way. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Make sure to click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. And make sure to check out the links in the description for everything Confluence.